Okay, so we are now on Pico Boulevard, like this Run 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 song Pico. And up ahead is the end of America. You can see the Pacific Ocean. And this is where little Xander Smith, aka Sasha Wolkenstein, was born. My parents moved here from Detroit to have me, and this is the building. I was in a hippie cult, and this is the building I was hatched in. And my mom would walk me down right there as a little baby. And then, after about 3 or 4 months, see Pico Boulevard, we moved to this apartment, which is the very first apartment on Pico Boulevard, which starts Los Angeles. So I guess we're in the very first apartment in America, if you're going west to east. So yeah, this is where Pico Boulevard starts. Now as we're coming up over here, this was in the 70s, this is all Santa Monica area. Up here on the right, you'll see the bowling alley that they use in Dexter, the show. It's supposed to be Miami, but it's actually here. And as we make a left here, I don't know if you guys are Traffic or David Bowie fans, but the famous Santa Monica Civic Auditorium, where Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars landed, is right here. You have to get a shot of this. This is where my parents used to come to concerts and bring me when I was a little baby. Gorgeous. Art Deco. Still standing. Over here on the left is the famous Rand Corporation, R-A-N-D, which most people don't know is the single most important and influential company in the world, probably. This is where the smartest people get together and decide how you're going to live your life. They decide how comfortable the chairs are going to be at McDonald's. They decide how many people are going to die when an atomic bomb is dropped. They decide everything and anything. They're basically the world's bean counters. Over here on the right, you might recognize from the famous O.J. Simpson trials, there's the courthouse that we saw every day for all of the O.J. festivities. Pretty amazing. This is our original Sears, still standing, all the way from the 40s and 50s. And as we make a big loop, we come up to what is the famous Santa Monica Pier. And I don't know about you guys, but I happen to be a big fan of the movie Forrest Gump. And this was made famous when Forrest ran all the way across the country to battle his depression and sadness. I made a record, but Forrest decided to just run. I guess I have like 11 Jennies if you think about it, if you listen to the record. But and here it is, Santa Monica Pier. That's Santa Monica. That's where baby Xander came from. See, it was all one big loop. Pretty exciting.
I'm so quiet. You just riot.
Okay.
Knock me down.
So here we are in West Los Angeles. We're coming up on one of my favorite things in the entire city. When I was a kid, I saw Grease, and I fell in love with Olivia Newton-John, as did the rest of America. And then one day, I was walking down the street, and lo and behold, I ended up walking right in front of Rydell High, and I couldn't believe it. And I come here probably once a week. This is also the front of Happy Days. And look, everyone's getting out of school. And let's have a close-up right here. There it is. Danny Zuko fell in love with Sandy right there. Pretty exciting.
Stop the
Hey, and if you're a Richie Cunningham fan, you know, Happy Days was also filmed there too. So Jefferson High School, Rydell High School, Venice High School. It's a place where magic happens, for sure.
goodbye of years today. You left me in the strangest way.
In Los Angeles, California, just entering into Century City, and straight dead ahead you can see that is the Takamine Plaza, which probably just looks like a building to you unless you're a fan of the movie Die Hard. This is the film where Bruce Willis blows up everything, climbs down, throws bodies out the window, and they actually had to destroy the whole bottom of it for that movie, but pretty exciting. And up here on the left are our twin towers, modeled after, obviously, New York City. They were pretty concerned after 9/11 about these, but we're still here. They're gorgeous, huh? And as we drop down, Century City is exactly that long. You have just entered and you are now leaving Century City. But what we have up here on the left, for all of you 90s TV show fans, this tower marks Beverly Hills High School, and you're entering 90210. This is the zip code.
Closing every eye on me. Tell myself I'm checking out. Then I go where I go. Stopping by this lonely tree. It's looking out at only me. Climbing up, I won't look down. Take it slow. Take it slow. Come and hide away with me.
So if you look at an aerial map of Hollywood, say circa the 1920s and 30s, you're going to see nothing but orange trees. Orange trees, a building called the Argyle Hotel way over near the Rock and Roll Strip, and this building over here. And this right here is Charlie Chaplin's house. We have his soundstage, and if you look right here, this later was bought by A&M Records and is where We Are the World and several other recordings were made. There's Charlie. And now Jim Henson Studios owns it and makes their movies. My very first band, Chalk Circle, recorded our entire record in that building. We snuck in the middle of the night because our friend was in charge of getting the strawberries and fruit plates for Ozzy Osbourne, and he said, look, I'll get you in the middle of the night. And so we would sneak in there at 2 in the morning and make the record Chalk Circle when I was in college. And ironically, years later, I got signed in Other Star People by A&M Records, and we were actually the last band ever signed to A&M before they sold it. And one day I was on tour with Herb Alpert, who is somebody I work with now, who is the A in A&M Records, and somebody ran up to me, and I thought they were going to ask me about Herb, and they said, hey, were you in Other Star People? Will you give me an autograph? And Herb said, what am I doing here? That was a funny story. I said, I'm sorry, Herb. I got 2 fans, okay? You have millions, I have 2. We just happened to have run into one of my fans. We are driving up Doheny Boulevard, which separates West Hollywood and Beverly Hills. At the very top of this is pretty much the birthplace of Hollywood rock and roll, the Sunset Strip. As we get up here, this is Sunset Boulevard, and the first and most important place to point out on our rock and roll Hollywood tour is not the Palladium or the Whiskey or the Sunset. It's right here, Gil Turner's liquor store, which has supplied every rock and roll star with alcohol since the beginning of time. Can you see it there? This is when Ozzy Osbourne left Black Sabbath, or actually got kicked out and decided to go solo. He posted up at a hotel down the street and just called Gil Turner's every day to get his liquor delivered. As we make around the corner here, you will see on your left-hand side the Key Club, which used to be called Gazzarri's, which is the birthplace of Van Halen and most of the hair metal bands. If you ever watched Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, you can see everything about this. It's called the Key Club now, but that was Gazzarri's. I met Bill Gazzarri right before he died, standing right there where that car is. Up here on the left is the Roxy. Roxy is famous for David Bowie, Cheech and Chong, you name it, they played here. Now, my favorite story about this area was the time when my band Other Star People, which some of you have heard of, was asked to open up for members of the Chili Peppers under an assumed name. And it was everybody but the drummer. John Frusciante had just gotten out of some kind of rehab or something, and it was his first day back. He was very fragile. And Flea, they were working on the songs. Now, it's been 9 years since I've drank tequila in the whiskey. So that's my amends to this situation. But that night, we were the opening band, and I was, you know, kind of a big deal. And they were buying me shots, and I was drinking them. And at one point, I'm overlooking the stage, the famous stage where the Police and the Doors got signed, and I see the Chili Peppers playing without a drummer, because it's sort of an acoustic version of their songs. And I want to be helpful, and I think, they don't have a drummer. Oh, that's really sad. You know, I should probably go down there and help them out. And the only problem with that is, well, there's 2 things. One, the Red Hot Chili Peppers didn't ask Xander Smith to play with them that night. The other problem is that I don't play the drums. So, and I was drinking plenty of tequila. So I climbed down there and just kind of walked down on the stage, and I picked up some sticks and I started playing drums. And Flea shot me a look that actually managed to sober me up. And like the cartoon characters, I kind of just slid down the stairs and disappeared, put a hat on, and hid in the crowd for the rest of the show. And all that happened right here at the world famous Whiskey A Go Go, where we saw our friend Monty play the other night. And over here on the right, not to be morbid or anything, but this is the Viper Room, where Run 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 plays a lot, and I'm going to be playing this year by myself. And thanks to Johnny Depp, this is a Hollywood rock and roll landmark. There you go. Sunset Strip by Xander Smith. Now we're entering into old Hollywood. We have the famous Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. is coming up here on the left. More palm trees. So there it is, the Roosevelt Hotel. Over here we have Hollywood High School. And straight ahead, Hollywood's own version of Times Square. We're getting to the famous Chinese theater and the El Capitan, where they filmed the Jimmy Kimmel show. And there's the Chinese theater right there. Hollywood. I stopped here for a reason. There's a lot of famous people that are on these stars, but for me, and this mustache, most people think I'm trying to be in the Beatles, but it's Charles Bronson. It is my true action hero. And then I'm also a huge Star Trek fan. Right here, we have Captain Kirk. Pretty exciting. I'm a Trekkie. And is there anybody really more famous
Don't miss out. The next tour will be starting
than Donald Duck?
Also, don't forget to stop by the table by the front door.
Pretty much concludes our little trip around Hollywood, Santa Monica, Los Angeles today with Xander Smith. I want to thank Rising Magazine for doing this. I'm excited you're all going to hear my new music. And I thought we would conclude, now that nighttime has fallen, over here where every musician in Los Angeles eventually has to make their way to, because they got all the good toys. And we are coming up to the Rock of Fame at Guitar Center on Sunset Boulevard. And you know, say what you will, a lot of dreams are born here. You know, and the last thing I want to talk about is my mustache, because people bring this up a lot and they say, oh, are you trying to be in the Beatles or something? Or who do you think you are, Charles Bronson or something? Let me tell you something. I got a mustache for one reason and one reason only. It's because my real father is right here. That's right, John Bonham from Led Zeppelin, the drummer. What do you think? Hi, Dad.